Following their defeat in the last round, Team Z must now devise a strategy in order to compete well in the upcoming game. Before they do this, they each discuss their strength and the tools they possess that they believe will help them prevail over their subsequent opponents. They all talk about what their individual strengths are. However, Isagi does not know what his weapon is. One of the players believes that his strength is his passing, but the other player does not appear to argue with this assessment because he believes that passing is not a quality that a striker should be proud of having. Someone else yells at him angrily and tells him that he is doomed since he doesn't know what his strengths are, and therefore can't capitalize on them. After describing what they are good at as individuals, they begin to question whether or not they are capable of developing a strategy that will win the match based on what ego has given them. This causes them to question whether or not they even have a shot at winning. While they are considering their options, one of them comes up with a scheme for winning the match that he calls Operation Next Up. It's me, 11. They all go out to the field to practice in order to put the plan to test. Isagi believes that because of the seriousness of which they had been approaching their training, they have finally understood that if they were to lose, it would signal the end of their career as soccer players. In addition, he is of the opinion that the very existence of this common factor is what has finally brought them together as a team. Later that evening, he decides to eat supper at the cafeteria, but due to the fact that he arrives late, there is very little food available for him to eat. Even though it has been a week since he arrived at Blue Lock, he is not paying much attention to the food that is provided for him since he is more concerned with the fact that nothing in the facility appears to be boosting his self-confidence. It causes him concern because the other members of his squad all know their strengths, but he does not. Just at that moment, he arrives at the realization that, perhaps contrary to what they had suggested previously, he does not actually have any strengths. During his meal, he's confronted by Kunigami, the player who had assisted in their most recent match by passing the ball to before he scored the team's lone goal. It would appear that Kunigami has come to express his gratitude for passing the ball to him. Isagi is made to feel a little uneasy as a result of this. However, Kunigami appears to have put it out of his mind, and he is on his way back to his room where Isagi stops him. Isagi takes Kunigami by surprise by asking him why he plays soccer. After hearing this query, Kunigami finds himself wondering what kind of question Isagi is trying to ask. However, he provides an answer by telling him that he plays soccer in order to become a soccer hero, since he has always looked up to strikers on pitches who scored goals to win games. He thinks that he will be able to accomplish this ambition. He asserts that they were genuine heroes in his eyes and that they inspired him to have courage. Isagi is taken aback when he hears him say this, since he now understands that Kunigami has a very firm determination, much like him. The noise coming from the food vending machine interrupts his train of thought as he continues to think about how awesome Kunigami is. As he turns his head in the direction of the machine, he notices Kunigami extending an offer of food to him. When he discovers that Kunigami's food contains meat, he's astounded beyond words. This is due to the fact that he has never been given the opportunity to eat something tasty because his team has the lowest rating in the facility and is therefore required to consume the meals that are of the lowest quality. Isagi is still taken aback by the fact that Kunigami gets to eat meat. But Kunigami informs Isagi that he has traded the goal-scoring point he obtained earlier from some steak. Isagi continues to be surprised by this development. He is taken aback when he sees the list because it reveals the extravagant luxuries that a goal scorer might get as a result of accumulating goal-scoring points. A day outside of the Blue Lock facility, a bed and a cell phone were offered in this luxurious experience. On the other hand, while he daydreams about the possibilities of obtaining this stuff, Kunigami offers him half of the meat because he was the reason that he scored the goal in the first place. Soon after that, Kunigami asks him why he had passed the ball to him previously, especially considering that Raichi was free and in a better position to score a goal at the time. Isagi's response is that he did it without even realizing it was happening. In addition, he claims that he sensed an opportunity for a goal and made the decision to give the ball to Kunigami. When Kunigami hears this, he is amazed, and he begins to wonder if this could possibly be Isagi's strength. Right at that moment, they each take a bite of the steak and are blown away by how delicious it is. After that, Isagi expresses his gratitude to Kunigami for bringing a smile to his face. After that, the two individuals come to the conclusion that they should complete their food before going to bed, because they are both intent on winning the game the following day. The following day, Team Z is geared up and ready to compete against their rivals, Team Y. They are not, however, at ease, because, just like them, Team Y had previously failed to win their first match and needed this victory just as much as they did. Based on their analysis of the capabilities of their rival, they anticipate that Okawa Hibiki, the team's number 9, will pose a significant challenge. Keeping this in mind, they have made preparations for victory, and they are hoping that the planning and practice they have put in will pay off. Earlier on, the group had come up with a strategy for how to proceed. It would appear that their plan called for making use of their individual strengths, as well as providing everyone with an opportunity to play the role of the striker, by dividing the time in order to give everyone a chance to act. With this strategy, each of them would have a shot at the goal, while the others would provide assistance. While the remaining players yearn for a chance to take part in striker duties and score a goal, Chigiri and Lemon have made the chance to continue playing the positions of goalie and defense. As soon as the game starts, the ball is given to Bachira, who is tasked with using his dribbling ability to advance the ball as far up the field as he possibly can. At first glance, it appears that he's performing fairly well, bringing the ball as close as possible to the post defended by the opponent. However, his advancement comes to a halt when two members of Team Y are placed on him at the same time. After seeing them, he has the impression that getting around them won't be difficult. Unfortunately, a third teammate joined, making it difficult for him to proceed any further. Since there's nothing else for him to do, he decides to pass the ball backwards. On the other hand, Isagi comes to the realization that the members of Team Y had also devised a strategy quite similar to the one they had. He concludes that their composure and strategies are not devoid of a well-thought-out plan for protecting themselves from their attacks and strikes. On the other hand, he is of the opinion that given the fact that they possess 8 different strategies, they will have a greater possibility of victory. In light of the fact that their initial effort was fruitless, Team Z has decided to alter their strategy by sending Kunigami into offensive position. As he moves closer to the post defended by Team Y, he recognizes an excellent opportunity and makes an effort to shoot the ball into the goal. Unfortunately, the defenders on Team Y, who were going for an all-out defense, were able to block his shot. Team Z makes the decision to begin their build-up once more and passes the ball to Kunigami. He attempts to shoot once more, but Team Z blocks his shots, which causes him to become frustrated. Isagi at this point has come to the conclusion that the members of Team Y are concentrating their efforts more on defense and are not progressing any further. When he learns that their striker Okawa has been keeping a low profile, he becomes even more concerned. However, his interest is piqued when the ball is passed to Nico, the playmaker for Team Y. Nico doesn't waste any time in sending the ball to Okawa in a well-planned counterattack, which satisfies his curiosity. Isagi rushes as quickly as he can in the hopes of catching up with Okawa, but he is regrettably unable to do so in the time to prevent Okawa from scoring a goal. Isagi gains some insight into the strategies employed by his opponent thanks to this objective. Keeping this information in mind, he contemplates the means by which they will be able to thwart Okawa, whom he considers to be the engine that drives his team. While everything is going on, Team Z is getting ready to pass the ball. When they do this, the ball does not stay in their possession for very long, and their rival is able to get it and keep it. Team Y, rather than attempting an offense, surprisingly passes the ball around amongst themselves. Because of this, the players on Team Z are forced to constantly move around, which quickly wears them out. The situation stays the same right up until the end of the first half. The very idea of it gives them a great deal of anxiety, since it eliminates any possibility of their obtaining control of the ball. At halftime in the locker room, the team is split on whether or not it will be difficult to break down Team Y, because they have chosen to take a defensive stance. Some believe it will be easy to do so, while others believe it will be difficult. They've given it a lot of thought, and some people have suggested that they adjust their strategy. But in the end, they've decided to stick with what they've got and are keeping their fingers crossed that it will be successful. Despite this, Isagi is unsure whether or not they have a legitimate shot at victory. Team Y continues to pass the ball around at the beginning of the second half, which further increases Team Z's level of frustration. On the other hand, just as the 10 minutes mark approaches, Gagamaru is presented with an opportunity to play strike. They are ecstatic that they were finally able to get their hands on the ball at this moment. Isagi then regains possession of the ball and sends a cross into the penalty area not long after. However, after kicking it, he believes he has hit it with a great deal of force, but to his surprise, Gagamaru is able to get to it and knot it. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper was able to save it, and now they will have to take a corner kick. Isagi is aware of an odd sensation surrounding him just prior to the corner being played. Because of this, he becomes aware that something is not right. In the heat of the moment, he makes the realization that they had been scared of the wrong person. After examining the circumstances, it turns out that Nico and not Okawa, as they had originally believed, is the one who is responsible for their falling behind in the game. Instantaneously, he goes to mark Nico, and in doing so, he is able to successfully prevent a potential counterattack. This gives him the opportunity to charge towards the post in the hope of scoring a goal. On the other hand, his shot takes a deflection and is on the verge of missing the goal until Gagamaru stretches out to score an equalizing goal. Nico confronts Isagi after coming to the realization that he has been caught. Isagi's discovery of him is praised by him, who points the finger of blame at him for impeding their counterattack. In response, Isagi gives Nico the assurance that he would hit him out of the game, and that Team Z will emerge victorious. Nico, on the other hand, thinks that this is completely implausible and is convinced that he cannot be defeated. Did you enjoy this recap? If you did, kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel, so we can bring you the recap of the next episode. Until next time, do take care and stay safe.